when we first started talking about this, it seemed like so much silly semantics debate, but having spent some time with it and digging through it, I understand why this is so important. It's one of those things where when you're outside, you go, what are we arguing about? But the people that are inside are really passionate about it for a reason. Mm-hmm. And it's that knowledge gap of when you understand all of the implications of one word change or one definition change, it makes a big difference. And it sounds like this is mostly a good adjustment.
And look, in the end, I think I don't want it to get lost that I could just stay. I don't believe, and I don't think the evidence shows this, that you can just sit in a preclinical phase forever. I think as waist circumference increases little by little, as you have, just like high cholesterol, just like hypertension, as you're hyperglycemia, as you're exposed to those sorts of things, the longer you go, the more likely you are that this progresses. So simplifying it into 2 buckets, doesn't mean that if you're in that first bucket, it's like, well, they're not going to do anything for you now. Yeah. No, if anything, it's kind of the opposite. We're still lobbying for, early intervention, albeit maybe a bit more conservative. Mm-hmm. But it's just, I could see a lot of people saying like, well, how, what are you saying? Like people can just be preclinical forever. No, I don't think that's usually the case. It is possible. Right. But it's still, we still need to.
In the same way that you might know a guy who smoked for 70 years and never developed any breathing issues at all. It's possible. Yeah. Real unlikely.
Yeah, and I like to. They think they sum up something along those lines pretty well. Although the risk of mortality and obesity-associated diseases can rise as a continuum across increasing levels of fat mass, we differentiate between preclinical and clinical obesity for clinical and policy-related purposes. Yes, it's the continuum is the key. The continuum to me is a fact. But at what point do you have to turn those facts into practical application? Right. And they're kind of saying we got to divide it up somehow, and they did 2 instead of 3. And
there's got to be a line somewhere.
But the continuum is key. That was a great point.
Exactly. The preclinical to clinical progression is as arbitrary as it sounds. Right. Like it is 100% as arbitrary as it sounds, but it has to be that way. In the same way that if this blood level is 24 and you're normal, and then when you go to 25, it's high. Like you said, you draw the line somewhere. Clinical and policy, they need to be able to get their footing somewhere in that. But then it boils down to the individual clinician. If they see the 24 to 25 thing, they see preclinical to clinical, there's still going to be a conversation. There's still going to be intervention of some kind. There's still going to be something going on to help prevent the progression or
the art of medicine.
Exactly.